Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I am Zhong, the owner of Zhong Cage Fighting Series. Right next to me, we have Raj Soni. Today, officially signed, will be making his MMA debut on our upcoming event, August 20, in the heart of San Francisco, Keys Hall Pavilion. Now, Raj, good to have you on board. Let's introduce you to all the MMA fight fans out there. Who you are, where are you coming from?
Sure. So my name's Raj, last name Soni. So I'm from the Bay Area. I've been born and raised here. I've only ever lived in Walnut Creek, Dublin, and Pleasanton. Right. So
for the last
25. I'm 25. So this is the only place I've ever been. I always had an interest in martial arts when I was a kid. I did a little bit of Taekwondo when I was really little, but I really started training in the mixed martial arts when I was 19, and I'm at the same gym that I started training at. So when I was about 19, one day I looked up where I could train, for Muay Thai, for Jiu-Jitsu, and I found Crispin BJJ through one Google search. I did one introductory class, and then I signed up right away. So, and we've been training ever since.
What nationalities are you?
So I'm Indian, right? I'm born over here, but my family's from India, and there's not a lot of us that do MMA or fighting or martial arts. Most of us play tennis, but I'm one of the few, and yeah, so we are Indian.
So now, how long have you been doing jiu-jitsu now? 6 years?
So I originally started with Muay Thai, and then I did the jiu-jitsu a little bit after that. So probably several years for the jiu-jitsu, and maybe 6-7 years for the stand-up.
So now, what belt are you on BJJ?
So for jiu-jitsu, I'm a blue belt right now.
Okay. Yeah. So now, on your upcoming fight, you're fighting a guy that similar situation like you, and growing up with a boxing background but never had a fight. I'm not sure you watch his interview. I did an interview with him, and you look like you have some size advantage, and the opponent you fight is he's 134 pounds. That's yesterday. I looked at him, I'm like, wow, you're kind of slim though. You want to go down to 120? He's like, no, I don't want to cut weight. I'm gonna fight exactly how much I walk around. So I'm like, great, So how much weight do you walk around right now?
So I weigh probably about 143 to 145 right now. So I'm not particularly heavy either.
Okay.
And
so you guys have both kind of a not too much of a weight cut.
I'm not particularly heavy myself, and him walking around 134, 135. It could just be him being in shape and training a lot. So yeah.
So like, first of all, how do you mentally prepare yourself step into the cage? Like, what encouraged you to make that step?
So I was always training, right? So I've competed jiu-jitsu before. I've done smokers before, but it was really my teammates and my coaches at the gym that kind of convinced me to take it more seriously. Because for a while when I was training, I was also a college student. I was working at the same time. I wasn't really sure where I was going with it. I knew I wanted to compete a little bit, but all my training partners and my coaches were telling me, you should try this out. You should take it seriously. So they kind of got me to focus a little bit more on it.
No, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So now, what you think of your opponent?
Seems like a good guy. I know he's got good boxing. So
he has like 5 or 6 smoker boxing, but
yeah,
he never wrestled and never do any jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
This is MMA.
It's still a fight, Even though that being said, right? You can't overlook anybody. You take anybody who's got good hands and you put small, 4-ounce, 6-ounce gloves on him. That's a dangerous guy right there. You never know how he's been training, right? But that being said, it is an MMA fight, right? And it's gonna look like an MMA fight.
Right. So now, personal life, you're 25 years old. Do you work?
So right now, I actually, for the past 4 or 5 months, I've been working at the academy itself. So I've been helping teach a lot of the Muay Thai and the stand-up classes over there. So before that, I had a lot of different jobs. I worked at the Finish Line. I sold sneakers for a while.
You got discount on that one?
I did 30%. I got 14 pairs of shoes in my closet.
Oh my goodness! Oh shoot!
And then
you still got the hookup?
What's up? I can make a couple phone calls. I don't know how much of a hookup I'll get. Probably make a couple phone calls. Then after that, I had a desk job for a while. I had an office job, and it was cool, but it was not the most exciting, engaging work I've ever done. But it was cool for the time being. And then eventually, I kind of made the transition teaching.
That's pretty awesome. What do you see yourself in the? I mean, I know you haven't even had the first fight yet. You're about to go into have the first fight. Do you see yourself like trying to make it as a career, or are you trying to make it as one of those bucket lists?
Yeah, so right now, I wouldn't really call it a bucket list. You know, right now we're training for the long term for sure, but right now I'm kind of just focused on this fight. You know, it's my first, it's my debut. You know, it's my first one, so I'm not coming into this fight with the mindset of, oh, you know, I'm gonna do this, this, and this after, and then I'm gonna call this guy out, and I'm gonna go pro. You know, I gotta just lock in and just focus on who I'm fighting right now, and then, you know, we'll see how my performance is.
Have you been to our event before?
So I've never been to a Dragon House event before, but I've been training at the academy for about 6-7 years, and in that time, we've had a lot of our guys fight for you on the show. So it's crazy. It's crazy to see how it's come full circle. You know, the funny thing is, when I signed up at the academy, you know, when I was 19, you know, I didn't have an athletic background, right? I played junior varsity tennis, right? So I wasn't any kind of freak athlete.
Oh shit! Okay, that's cool.
Right, but what was interesting is when I signed up, if you told me that one day I'd go fight, I'd have told you that you've lost your mind, right? I'd have said you're insane, right? But turns out, you know, you train for a while, you start to pick it up, right? And then you start to spar and you start to enjoy the sparring. And, you know, I started to see myself, you know, hold my own in the sparring more. And I started to get encouragement from my training partners, from my coaches. And I started realizing, like, oh my God, you know, maybe I can compete, so.
Well, Chris Beam has been around the block for a long time. Their academy's more than a decade in the Bay, and I know Chris Beam for like, gosh, a long time, you know, and watching him build his academy in East Bay and establish himself, establish his name in the academy in the East Bay. It's one of the most well-known gym in the East Bay, you know, and they're coming out a lot of good fighters from Chris Beam's gym, so there's no expecting less to watching you perform. Like, I don't know what you're going to do, but I know as Chris Beam's guys always put on a good show, always have a good performance, you know. Now, if people want to get a hold of you to watching you fight, how can people contact you?
So best way to reach me is probably through Instagram. So I haven't been super active on social media for a while, but I plan to be more. My Instagram handle is rsoni.96.
rsoni.96. That's pretty good. Now, do you have any special loved one training partners, supporters that you want to shout out to, sponsor?
Yeah, for sure. So I just want to shout out to my coaches and training partners. Big thank you to Chris Beam, to Jeremiah, to my teammate who's fighting on the same day, Dimitri. You know, I want to give a big thank you to everybody who comes to the Muay Thai classes, who come spars with me. You know, all the guys that I get to train with on the jiu-jitsu mat. You know, thank you guys for tossing me around the mat, you know, arm barring me, choking me out, you know. It's all been awesome, you know. So thank everybody who comes to the gym, all the members, for coming and training with me, whether it's stand-up or jiu-jitsu, and encouraging me to keep going. You know, thank you for Chris Beam and Jeremiah, Dimitri for helping coach me throughout this and making this happen.
Well, Jeremiah, always shout out to the guy too. You know, he started the amateur on my show.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That's how long.
Crazy.
That's how far back is Jeremiah.
Yeah.
When he was in the amateur day, you know, he started in my show, and then it turned pro,
awesome.
and then now he's, you know, one of the celebrities, the MMA stars in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
You know, Jeremiah's still fighting, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
He's a veteran. You know, now he's fighting on a big stage, and what can wait now? If your opponent, what's his name? I forgot. Eden.
Yeah.
Eden.
Started with the L. I think.
Yeah, Les. I can't pronounce his name. No, I'm
No
sorry.
worries.
But anyway, if your opponent watching this interview, what do you have to say to him?
Thank you for taking the fight. You know, I look forward to sharing the cage, and let's put on a good show. Let's give the fans something that they're going to enjoy.
That's pretty awesome. Well, classy act, well-respected fighter right here. Another young up and coming now. Do you following the MMA scene in the Bay Area?
The Bay Area, not so much. You know, I mean, I watch pro MMA, I watch UFC, but the local shows, not as much. A little bit more recently, since I've been training myself, and you know, I have my teammate Dimitri, who's started fighting this last year. So now I'm kind of more familiar with the names and whatnot, but I haven't been following it super close.
Now, in 135 pounds, do you know any names that caught your eyes that you think is pretty good?
To be honest with you, I really don't know any other that many fighters who are 135 in the Bay Area, so I'm not that familiar with the names on the scene yet.
Is 135 is the weight class you comfortable to sit at?
For now, yeah. I weigh only between 143 to 145. So I mean, I could see in the future myself going down, but you know,
to a flyweight.
I could see myself getting that low, but I think for now, you know, amateur debut, I think 135 is good.
That's awesome. Well, you know, here's another young up-and-coming bantamweight fighter that I think everyone should keep your eyes on, and we'll see how this is gonna play out. You know, I think I started doing the fighters interview about 7.5 years ago, and time to time, like some of the guys that I interview, you know, make it to UFC, and many of them actually
Awesome.
I did interview like when they were amateur and a pro. Now they're in UFC. Then sometimes I look in those interviews, and damn. Back in the day, he was just an amateur. Now he's in the UFC. It become like a little bit of history, you know. So all those interviews, I always save it on my YouTube channel, and then it's years later, like 5-6 years later, if Raj ever make it to a big thing, like, look, this is my amateur debut. This is the interview right here. It's
Yes,
a good little, it's a good little history right here. You know, who's your most favorite UFC fighter?
In the past, it was always Donald Cerrone. You know, not just his fight style, but I just loved his overall attitude and mindset. You know, like you know, the way that he showed up to fight. You know, he'd be down to fight anybody. He fought really often. He's very active, and you know,
which fighter you cannot stand the most?
Cannot stand. Ooh, I don't know about names. I just like watching fighters who are active and keep the fight moving. You know, I just don't like it when fighters feel like they're winning and kind of just stall.
Yeah,
but
any specific names of fighter that you don't like?
Oh man, I'd have to think about that one, not off the top of my head.
See, every time I need to start asking that question actually. Who you don't like the most? Because everybody, I like Conor, I like this,
yeah.
I like. Who do you not like the most? This will be the next question for the next interview.
I'll write that down. I'll do some research.
Yeah.
I'll watch some fights. I'll see who bores me the most.
Yeah, that's for sure. Okay, now so. For more information about this upcoming fight card, check out DragonHouseMMA.com, guys. Order your live stream pay-per-view. This event is a pay-per-view live nationwide on all different devices. So order your live pay-per-view voucher from DragonHouseMMA.com. It's a huge stack card, over 20 fights. After this event, the next one, it's gonna be November 12th. So this is gonna be the last event of the year. So making sure all the fighters wanna hop on that show, making sure you guys hit me up. Here we go, and subscribe my YouTube channel. Help me to grow my YouTube channel. Follow me on Instagram. Any last word you want to say to your anyone out there?
Yeah, just make sure you guys tune in. Yeah, you know, one more time, thank you to all the members who come to train with me at whether it's stand-up or jiu-jitsu. Thank you to my coaches, my teammates, Crispin, Jeremiah, Dimitri's fighting on the same day. Make sure you guys tune in and watch his fight as well.
That's awesome. Here we go. We have another young up-and-coming young man, Raj Soni. Raj Soni, and making his MMA debut. It's a big moment for him. And then I'm Zhong signing out. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good to have you on board.